Hello everyone, Treecks here, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Last time we went up Death Mountain and found out why people were going here in order to look for the Golden Land. The greed of people who were on quest to find the Golden Power takes everybody up Death Mountain because apparently a single portal leading towards the Golden Land is still left here. However, do not take this lightly, because the Golden Land is not an easy place to go to. Of course, getting in there is easy enough. As you can see, a portal still remains, even though the place is supposed to be sealed officially. The Seven Sages tried really hard doing that. But this portal over here still gives us access to it. However, it is a one-way trip, as you can see. No portal back. And one other problem. As you can see, we are not able to keep our human form in here. The magic powers will transform you into whatever reflects your heart the most, which is in Link's case a cute little bunny rabbit. Interesting. But since we are a bunny now, we are not able to do anything. Our weapons, all of our controls are locked out, you might say. Overworld-wise, this place actually looks a lot similar to the real world, you might say. The Golden Land actually reflects the real world, you might say. And this is actually an interesting aspect we'll be making use of in a minute. But first, let's explore this place a little bit. Some more people went in here and also weren't able to keep their human shape. Hey, what do you want? Do you got something to say to me, silly rabbit? I came here to get the Golden Power, but I can't go back to the real world like this. If I only had the Moon Pearl from the Tower of Hera, then I could change back to the way I was. I've got good reason to be stressed out, so back off, now scram! Okay. What do you have to say? Whoa, tumble, tumble. Hey, you were turned into a bunny. The terrain in this world looks like the terrain in our world, but it's just a little different. And anyone who wanders into this land is changed to a shape that reflects his true nature. I'm always changing my mind, so I turned into a ball. But if you have a ball called the Moon Pearl, you can keep your original shape here. Okay, interesting. We kinda knew this already because of the old man. Told us about the Moon Pearl already. Apparently this Golden Land, which is turned into a place of darkness, it's known as the Dark World now. But it is not a place where we can simply leave again. Everybody who wanders in here looking for the Golden Power is stuck here and even loses their human form. However, we met with the old man, who is apparently a descendant of the sages, and he is able to help us out. Making use of the fact that this world actually reflects the real world, we can actually use the magic mirror in certain locations in order to leave here. Only the mirror gives us the opportunity to return to the real world. And this location in the real world actually looked a little bit different. There was a mountain here, Spectacle Rock. It is not here in the Dark World. So we can use this spot over here to warp to the Light World and immediately get on top of Spectacle Rock. This is the game's way of teaching us how Dark World and Light World mechanics actually interact with each other. This is something we're going to make use of a lot more later on. The fact that the two worlds are similar, connected, but not entirely the same. Stuff like this can be used in order to get to places in the Light World you can't get to normally. In this case, on top of Spectacle Rock and immediately to the Tower of Hera, dungeon number 3. Where not just the final pendant is going to be hidden, but also something called the Moon Pearl apparently. Something of great importance. Because we will not be able to do anything in the Dark World unless we are able to keep our human shape and therefore also our weapons. Because turning into a bunny is fun and everything, but if we're not able to do anything like it, it's not going to help us much. Don't get scared by these switches, it's obvious how they work. Treecks, it is I, Sahasrahla, the Elder. I have some advice. In the dungeons you can gaze into the magic mirror to return to the entrance at any time. Do not forget this. Okay, another way to warp apparently. The magic mirror is also a way to warp in this game. In the dungeons you can use it to return to the entrance immediately. Most Zeldas have something like that. And we will find out the Tower of Hera is actually a very compact dungeon with all of the rooms squished into one tile, as you can see, but it does consist out of multiple floors. Interesting layout. Obviously, we're first going to want to do the bottom part of this and make our way up. In order to get to the bottom, we want to take the stairway down here. Because the first floor is going to have a key for us. Oh yeah, be careful for these red Stelfos. They actually throw a bone the moment you miss them, so they're jumping away from your sword slash immediately got a little bit more dangerous. Okay, got the key. That's all we can do here. And let's make sure the switch is pulled in the correct way. It can be pretty annoying with these switches. Sometimes the wrong color blocks are up. But okay, let's make use of the key. We get to the rest of the first floor. Okay, we have more moving floor tiles, only this time we do want to let this go entirely, because as you can see the door is locked. And the way to unlock it is to let these floor tiles run out. It's pretty easy to avoid them, so you shouldn't be too worried about them. There's multiple ways to do so. You can slash them with your sword, or you can simply run away. Both will work. You can kind of see it already, but this will actually move into a skull pattern, as you can see. Interesting. Okay, hitting the switch here will release some mini Moldorms, so be prepared to be bombarded the moment you hit the switch, which you still need to do because the doorway is actually on the other side of some blocks. Here we have some magic refill, and not for nothing, because if you don't have any magic, you will not be able to progress, because these torches need to be lit. For the chest containing the big key. Yeah, this place actually requires the big key to start climbing the tower, so we get it on the first floor already. Come on, get over here. Thank you. Okay, and let's make use of the magic mirror's warping capabilities in dungeons. Using the magic mirror here will take you to the entrance immediately, as you can see. Pretty handy trick. Okay, let's move up the tower now. Just like I said, the big key is the only thing you can get at the bottom of the tower. So let's make our way up now. I think this is by far the easiest dungeon in the game to traverse because of it being so linear. There's no real split pathways. It just goes up, up and up again. No real split pathways. So the challenge here only lies in the challenges you find in the room individually. Okay, a new type of switch actually gets introduced here. As you can see, these star switches will actually switch around the holes in the floor here. So remember that. Whenever you step on one of these star tiles, the floors, the gaps in the floor will actually move around. Something we need to make use of with some puzzles. Starting from this dungeon already. We're not just getting introduced to these kinds of switches, we're also immediately using them for puzzles. Not quite in this room yet, but be prepared for a puzzle coming up, making use of this. Okay, we want to put you down, because otherwise there's no way to get up top here. Oh, I see a big chest there. There's a lot of mini Moldorms in this dungeon. Might be a hint of what is coming up next. Because the mini Moldorms here aren't here for nothing. Okay, here we have the compass, which is a pretty useless item once again, because of course the dungeon boss is going to be at the very top. Like I said, useless item. But at least we've got confirmation now. Okay, what do you want? Treecks, it is I, Sarasralala, the Elder. An orb known as the Moon Pearl rests in this tower. He who holds the Moon Pearl is protected, and his form will not change in the Dark World. You must find it and escape from the tower. Do not forget the Moon Pearl. Okay, the game's trying really hard to tell us that that item is really, really important. And it's actually in that chest over there, but as you can see, we can't really reach it. So, something a little bit more sophisticated is needed in order to reach the chest. Because no matter what way we put the switches on, there's always a gap in between us and the chest. However, we can make use of the fact that this is a tower, and the 5th floor is connected to the 4th floor not just by staircases, but also by the gaps we find in the floor here. So if we fall down here, we will fall down to the 4th floor, to the chest containing the Moon Pearl. This protects the hero from the transforming effects of the golden power. Okay, at least we are able to keep our form the moment we enter the Dark World next time. I don't really see how that is going to be necessary, because why would we ever want to go there again? There's nothing there. The Wizard and the Master Sword are both in the Light World. No need to go there. But still, it's fun to have. We only needed to go there briefly in order to reach Spectacle Rock. It's the only reason we ever want to go to the Dark World. But okay, let's show off a little secret in this dungeon. This gap over here, you can actually fall down. And we fall down all of these pots that we've seen in all of the floors. Basically say we fall all the way down to the 1st floor of the dungeon again. And this is actually where you will find a fairy fountain. And luckily also a warp tile to take us out of here again. And return to the place we fell from. Would be a little bit unfair to take us all the way back to the entrance just for a fairy fountain. The game is nice enough to give us a warp tile. Okay, these spots are inaccessible. But I don't need them, I'm full health. Okay, boss time. On the 6th floor we actually find Moldorm. You might say the boss of all the mini Moldorms we've been finding throughout this dungeon. And this guy's pretty interesting. It's not a very hard boss. We need to hit him in the tail in order to defeat him, and if he knocks us off, we fall down to the 5th floor and need to restart the boss fight again. Interesting. Really reminds me of Wario Land bosses, where because of in Wario Land you also can't die because of the weird platforming mechanics those games have. And they usually also make use of bosses that don't necessarily are hard because of them being able to kill you. Because in Wario Land you can't die, of course. So they solved that by making bosses where you can actually get thrown out of the arena. And this is something that always reminded me of that. But still not a very hard boss. The hardest part is trying to stay on the arena, you might say. But once you have hit Moldorm enough times, we are rewarded Heart Container and Pendant of Wisdom. With this, you have collected all 3 pendants. Go now to the Lost Woods to get the Master Sword. Because the map was nice enough to show us where that is, we already know the Master Sword is in the Lost Woods. You can try to explore the top of Death Mountain further, but we will find out it's a dead end. There are wooden pegs here and nothing for us to do about it. I believe the same applies to the route to the left. You can find something here. It's also something we can't quite do yet. There's a tablet here, which is something we can't really work with right now, but remember this place for later, because we actually are missing something before we can actually interact with this. So let's head out of here. Like I've shown off, we are stuck here, nothing for us to do here anymore. The only thing we can do is finally pick up the Master Sword. A mission we have gotten in the very first part. And yet we were unable to get it because a couple of other errands needed to be done before we are awarded the Master Sword. So let's go get it now. The 3 pendants were required and we have all 3. So let's head to the Lost Woods. We know how to get there. So let's make our way here to the Fortune Teller house. Probably the easiest way to access it. Go away. Okay. Let's go find this legendary sword. Because we have been in here briefly in the Lost Woods to get a couple of other things, but we did not quite find a sword in here. So let's... Hey! There it is. The legendary Master Sword. Let's go grab it. This is it, the Master Sword. No, this can't be it. Too bad. This forest is littered with these decoy swords. Probably because of people looking for this sword for ages and people pulling pranks by putting these fake swords here. You will find a lot of those in the forest, but trust me, I know where to find the real one. Just follow along. Want to head towards the northwest of the forest. Once we're there, we will find this log over here at the northwest point of the forest, which will take us to a little section with forest critters that run around. And this big open white area houses a pedestal containing the true legendary blade. And of course it's in Hylian. Why am I not surprised? But we've got a book for that. The hero's triumph on Cataclysm's eve wins 3 symbols of virtue. The Master Sword he retrieves, keeping the Knight's line true. Well, we are of the line of Knights of Hyrule, so we are definitely of the correct bloodline. And we have the 3 pendants of virtue, giving us the ability to pull the Master Sword. Saharasharalala's voice echoes from the void. Treecks, you've done well to obtain the evil banishing blade, the Master Sword. The power that shines in it is now yours to wield. With it, you should be able to thwart the magic of the evil wizard, Agahnim. The destiny of this land is in your hands. Please, Treecks. Okay. We finally have the means to defeat the evil wizard. And for some reason the fog in the forest also clears up. Interesting. Treecks, help! The soldiers are coming to the sanctuary! Eee! Okay, that did not sound good. Apparently Zelda's cover is blown. They know she's there. So let's make our way to the sanctuary very, very quickly. Because Zelda is in trouble once again. Let's hurry up. I know I can reset warp there quickly, but I don't want to. In a situation like this, it is more appropriate to run there. Hopefully I'm still in time. Oh, let's not run past it. Oh no. That does not look good. Treecks, if you only had come sooner. A group of soldiers was here. They took Princess Zelda. Fear they have taken her to the highest room in the tower. They mean to sacrifice her. You must find her before the wizard works his magic. Please, Treecks, you're our only hope. And just like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, apparently if you die you also immediately vanish. But okay, before we head to the tower to save Zelda again. Now that we have the Master Sword, we can actually work with that tablet we found on Death Mountain, so let's go there quickly first. Saving Zelda is fun and everything, but reaching 100% is more important. Last time I skipped this tablet because we actually needed the Master Sword for this. But now that we have it, we can actually read this tablet and get something from it. Hold up the Master Sword and you will get the magic of Ether. Like I said, Master Sword required. Don't go try doing this without it. This is the Ether Medallion. Its magic controls the upper atmosphere and polar wind. Watch your magic meter. Okay, fake description. So, I'll explain it myself. It's basically a screen nuke, which works with lightning. Use it and everything on screen, poof, gone. But okay, I'm not be able to use it right now, so I'll do that later. For now, let's reset warp our way to the continuation of the story. Oh, Not something I'm going to use, so I'm going to ignore it. But apparently if you receive the Master Sword, you will also unlock something in 4 swords. But I'm not going to care about that here. So, okay, now that we're here, we can heal up quickly, because I'm not full health, I see. And make our way to the castle. Unlike last time, she's not going to be in the castle basement. This time around, Agahnim is planning on sacrificing her immediately. And his altar of sacrifice, you might say, is actually on the highest room of the castle, the top of the tower. A place we could have gone to earlier, but we wouldn't have been able to enter it because of a certain barrier. Now that we have the Master Sword, complete with sword beams whenever you're full health. It's actually something that returns from the first game. Whenever your sword was full health, you can use sword beams. In this game, it only applies to the Master Sword. But this Master Sword does not just have sword beams, it also has other magical capabilities. It's able to thwart the wizard's magic, the only item in the world powerful enough to counteract the wizard's magic. And one of his magic acts is actually this barrier, which is actually accessible from both corridors, so doesn't matter which way you go. But as you can see, there's actually a barrier preventing us from entering the castle tower. Nothing we can do about it, with the exception of one thing, the Master Sword. Its magic can actually nullify this thing, as you can see, giving us access to the wizard's tower where Zelda is. Another rescue is going to be necessary, and that we will do next time. See you folks for the climax of the story in the next episode. Treecks out.